The shoulder princess seam is one of those patterns that instantly upgrade for fit, smooth over the bust, balanced through the shoulder, and beautifully shaped at the waist. In today's tutorial, I will show you step by step how to draft it, starting from your basic bodice, and then we take it further into the sculpted bustier version with a scoop neckline. If you have been following our dart manipulation series, this is another transformation you will absolutely love. Welcome Creative Minds to Those Fashions Academy TV, where we help you to give your creativity expressions. If it's your first time of being here, kindly click on the subscription button to subscribe now. Explore all the tutorials here, turn on your notification bell not to miss out on any video content here. So right now we're just going to be diving into this, and then we start with our pattern paper on the table, just like you're seeing it over here. With a pattern paper, you first are going to be marking a margin line, which is like a starting line, like a guide, which is also going to be serving as the shoulder line. Then we go ahead and mark our shoulder measurement, which has been divided into 2, and then we are going to be dropping our shoulder by 1 inch, just same way we've been doing for every of our pattern tutorials on this channel. If you have been following along Those Fashions Academy tutorial, and if it's the first time, go now to playlist and explore all. Now let's go ahead and mark all our vertical lines, which is the bust line, which is the under bust, which is the waist, and then the allowance we're going to be putting. Measure your measurements on your body, or probably you go out right there to channel and see mastering body measurements, how to use the standard measurement techniques in drafting in case you don't have your full measurements or the client's measurements you're working with. So you can always use those measurements to work around your measurement line, your bust line, your waistline, your under bust line, your waistline, and then your allowance line that you're going to be putting there for stitching. Then let us go ahead and put our chest line as well, because we're going to be needing it for our armhole drop. Okay, so your chest line mostly is above your bust line. It's 1.5 inch or 2 inches. It works mostly for almost all measurements, depends on what you want to achieve. Some use 2 inches, some use 1.5 inches. Now go ahead and rightly label all your lines, because you don't want to miss any line. This is very important to always label your measurements, not to skip any process. So this is how it is, and then we have all our lines. We have the chest, we have the bust, we have the under bust, we have the waist, and then we also have the folding allowance line. Next is for us to now contour the armhole. For every pattern drafting you are drafting, always contour your armhole, which is you go in by half an inch on the mid armhole square that you have over there. So I went in by half an inch, and then I curve in my armhole. The shoulder princess seam combines that the waist, both that like that is the waist dart and then the side bust dart into one continuous curve that flows through the shoulder line. So we are going to be, that means we're going to be transferring the bust dart, and we are going to put it on the shoulder. Now let us put our dart. For your dart, it is your bust palm, and then your bust palm is divided into 2, which is your nipple to nipple distance divided by 2, and then you put it right over there. And then for your dart intake, that is in having your dart leg the way I'm doing it over here. For small measurements, it is 1 inch, you divide into 2, half an inch on both sides. For medium, it is 1.5, and for large, it is 2 inches. Let us also put our bust measurements, which is your bust that it is your front shoulder minus your front shoulder to your waist minus your back shoulder to your waist, which we rightly put there. Then go ahead right now and also don't forget to put your neckline, because the first basic shoulder princess seam we are drafting, it is with the basic neckline, which is like more like the round neckline. And in order for you to get your round neckline, it is your bust circumference divided by 12, and then you have it there to have your neckline square, and then you blend it with a curve. Now for your shoulder, get your mid shoulder so that we have our mid shoulder to put the line for our princess seam like it is over there. A shoulder princess seam gives a cleaner, more tailored feel compared to the armhole version, and also works beautifully. So that is how it is now. So right now we want to put all our circumference measurements without excluding the addition of our dart. which is always important. So always put back all the dart intake in your measurements whenever you have it, not to be short of fabric or anything you're doing on your pattern drafts and when you want to sew. So right now, let us do our side seam line at the side, and then we're just going to go ahead and also add 1 inch for the seam allowance, because we're going to be adding the seam allowance we need on this project, which we're just going to be sewing but cutting directly on our fabric without adding again. So 1 inch is okay for seam allowance, except if you want 2 inches or 1.5 inch for your seam allowance. So right now we are adding just 1 inch seam allowance for this measurement. So after we are done doing this right now, we are then just going to rightly transfer the darts from the side bust to the shoulder. This takes us into the transferring and truing the dart section of this pattern drafting that we are doing over here. So we're just going to go ahead, right? Don't also forget to always label your pattern. It is very, very important. It is key to label your pattern. So don't always forget that. So this is what are we drafting here, guys? It is a shoulder princess seam we are drafting over here. So now we're just going to go ahead now, and then we want to draft the back of this pattern drafting so that we see how to do the back as well before we now go into the cutting, and then we'll be able to move our dart intake. So in drafting your back, just going to also be putting the same measurement. It is even easier with the back, because the back you only need the 2 lines, which is just the chest line and then the waistline. So first of all, get your center back, which is where your zipper is going to be, to add your zipper allowance, and then also have your margin line, and then go ahead to put your shoulder measurement and drop your shoulder by half an inch. So for the back, we drop our shoulder by just half an inch. So after dropping your shoulder by half an inch, now continue now draw your line, draw your chest line, and also go ahead to draw your waistline. So this is our chest line and then our waistline. So for your waistline now, you're also going to go ahead now. You want to go ahead to put your dart. So drop your armhole to your chest line measurements. Guys, are you having fun making your pattern drafting? Exactly, it is fun. So now let's rightly place our back dart, which is your bust part measurement, same way you did for the front, but for the back it is just 1 inch dart intake we are taking. That is half an inch on both sides. We don't really need more contour on the back because of the back. The front takes more dart because of the bust area. So right now we're also going to be putting our neckline. Remember, for a basic shoulder, remember that it is a round neck we are also putting it. So just like just the basic round neck that we are putting on the basic fashion of this, the design is perfect for structured tops, blouses, and corporate jackets. Simple, clean, and versatile. So that is why we're also learning how to do the basic round neckline. Then we can now go ahead and put any type of neckline you want to put. If you want to draft for more classy, maybe red carpet event, evening dress, and all that, you can now say, I want a V neckline, I want scoop at the back, I want both neckline, depends on what you want. But for this, it is just the round neck we are putting there. So now also going to contour the zipper allowance area to remove the zipper botch, which is we went in by half an inch on the chest line, and then we're just going to be blending it into the zipper allowance. So for the zipper allowance on this project here, it is 1.5 inch that I used on this project here. So some people do 2 inches, it depends on you. 1 inch is depends, but for this project it is 1.5. And then on the zipper line, we went in by half inch to remove the zipper botch, and then we blend it into the zipper allowance line. So next is for us to now put our neckline, which is just 1 inch. So just going to be continue your curve. It's going to, your neckline is to be blend into the zipper allowance line, right? Any type of neckline you're using, even if it is V, is to blend into the zipper allowance line, so that when you want to sew your neckline, your zipper allowance line will be curved in with it. So now let us divide our shoulder by 2, and then we blend it, and that is how we are done with the back part of this project. You see, the back is very straightforward. So don't forget to also put your armhole, and then in putting your armhole, you don't even need to contour the armhole on the front, on the back, just like we did for the front, because it is not with a contour, right? It doesn't have a box, the back lay flat. So then we go ahead and we put our side seam and also label this. So we have the side back, which is going to be 2 pieces, and the center back 2 pieces. This is not going to be unfold because there's a zipper allowance and the middle of our center back. Just like the front is unfold, and then the back is to be cut 2 pieces, 2 pieces. Label your pattern, please. If you don't label, you may confuse this because we have so many pieces for this pattern. Amazing, guys. Are you feeling what I'm feeling on this table? This is so beautiful. If you have this on your table right now, just drop your pattern pencil, pattern marker, and first of all, applaud yourself. Bravo, you're doing great. Thumbs up. So now we have this, and this is just perfect. You have done a great job to get to this point. So the next thing we want to do now is to now split this into 2. You can see, so we are now going to go ahead and split our pattern, and then we are going to now cut. So first is to cut the back, and then we now go ahead and cut the front. What stood out for you? Out of let's say the armhole princess seam, the shoulder princess seam, which do you prefer? Or the neckline? You know, your style line can also go into the neckline, you know, right? Yeah, you know. So which one do you always prefer? Which is your all-time, which is your design, your favorite? The armhole or the shoulder, or probably even the neckline? Or you're just the type that just love a yoke? So which one do you love? Just let us know. You can put it in the comment section that I always prefer the armhole, I always prefer the shoulder. It depends on you. For me, I think I love the shoulder. Yeah, me, I love the shoulder, right? Most of my bustier that I've designed, padded and all that, I designed with the shoulder. And guys, please, I will remind you again, the sewing class for this is coming up, and also we are going to be having a festive season for this sewing section for this, where we are going to be seeing a beautiful Christmas dress. You don't want to miss it. Let's go right back into class. So now we're just going to be slashing through the side bust, and then the bust that, and then we are going to be transferring that into the shoulder. We are going to be closing the bust that, and then we're going to be transferring this into the shoulder line. We will transfer the side bust that and to the shoulder line, passing right through the bust point. So we are working with the apex, which is the bust point. So slash to the apex, slash the both the lines to the apex, and then this will enable us to close the side bust that and then move it to the shoulder. Next is we through our curve to ensure smooth shaping around the bust. You know, this steps is key. It eliminates drag lines and gives that seamless flow you see on high-end garments. You notice that on the armhole there is a bit modification there where I added extra armhole. I wanted to show you how to do that, but I see that it's not needed, so please skip that process. You don't need to add any extra dart intake on the shoulder lines, because when we measure our shoulder, your shoulder must align with your back shoulder. So because you did not take any darts on the line, you just slash and then you transfer from the side to the front. So on our M line at the side for the front, we're going to be adding back the darts. You're going to be seeing how we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be showing you right now. So guys, look at what we have on the table. Just look at that. Just look at that. Are you ready to make something amazing with this? Clap for yourself. Great job. So you can see that. So we have this right now on this table. Is this not looking amazing? Creative minds, this is so amazing. Princess seam, shoulder princess seam. This is the basic that we have on the table. So you can see how beautiful this is. This is so perfect. So right now, let me quickly show you how to put back your darts on the M. Do the same thing for your armhole too as you're with this. So because your side seam needs to align. If you do not do this, when you want to sew, your side seam may not align. So just put it back. Return back the dart intake. The dart intake was 1 inch, and then I return it back. So this will not short your fabric when you want to join your side seam by the time you end up sewing. Okay, do you get that? Ooh, so you see that, right? Yeah. So if you didn't put that, will be short of so many inches on the side, and it will not be like a struggle. Guys, please enjoy, have fun. Don't struggle with any fabric, with any pulling. You are just catching fun. Amazing. Guys, is this amazing? Yes, great job. So right now we're just going to be moving down into the next section, which is a converting to a bustier scoop neckline plus underbust tightening. Ready? First of all, let us do our bust radius. It is very important to always learn how to do your bust radius, which is the distance between your bust line and your on the bust line. If you don't have a compass like mine here, you can come and borrow. Just a joke, but you can just use a tape and then you measure around to get your bust radius round, to get your bust circumference. Just like you have a shape of your bust, it's just like a guide to guide you your that leg and all that, when you want to move ahead to corsets and all that. So right now let us go ahead and do the bustier. So for the bustier, remember that we take more. We are going to be tightening our underbust. So in tightening your underbust, you're going to reduce the dart intake at the underbust for a more contour shape. This gives your bodies that sculpted lift and perfect definition. Then we will redesign the neckline and all that. So now, in order for us to do the bustier, which we've done earlier in the armhole, if you can recall very well, so I'm going to be dropping all the measurements that will be needed for your bustier. I'll be dropping it in the comment section as well, so that you can follow through with the amount of inches you may need for this on the bust tightening, because it depends on maybe like a BC cup, maybe like B to C cup, like C cup, like D cup. It depends on the cup you're working with, small, medium, average, and all that. So, but for this, I'm just going to be tightening my underbust, the dart leg on the center front, and tightening it by 0.5, and the dart leg at the side is 0.25. Again, that leg at the center front is 0.5. That leg at the side is 0.5. It works well for the measurements I'm using here. It's just tighten, then I connect it down to the dart leg around the waistline. So now for next things for you to now blend. Please, you are blending it, you are not going sharp. Just use the cuff side of your pattern master, just like I placed it here, or your cuff, any cuff you're working with. Then you blend it in. This helps you to contour the underbust tightening. You can see that, right? So the only thing we did here is to just reduce the darts we have on the underbust to tighten it, and then we return it back on the side measurement. Don't forget, please, whatever you take there, return it back. I've done that. I've put that in my measurement. So whatever you take there, return it back on your side. So don't just remove and you didn't return. It will short your measurement, okay? So but the goal here is that we want to distribute the reduction slightly more on the center front dart leg than the side front. This ensures that the contour supports the bust naturally and prevents gaping, okay? So you see that. So after we are done doing this, let us do the scoop neckline. So for the scoop neckline, you're just going to be measuring down 7 inches from your shoulder line. Measure 7 inches, depending on the scoop you want. Maybe just a formal scoop, you don't want deep scoop, you can just do 5 inch. Maybe for evening wear, like a Christmas dress you want to do as well, like a prom dress and all that, red carpet event dress. So you're just going to be coming like 7, and if you want 8, you can do 8. So 8 inches, and then I'm just going to be blending this in. Don't mind me, I've already labeled my pattern and I have it busy over there. I love labeling my pattern, and I advise you to always do that too. So right now, so I'm just going to be blending this into it, okay? So I want to blend in my cuff. Make sure your cuff flows in very well. Scoop, some people also call it like a U neckline. Some people call it scoop, but some designers say it is not the same. You, what do you say? Is it the same thing? Is scoop also the same thing as a U neckline? Find out more about that, okay? Or you want me to tell you about that? Okay, so that is it. So we're just going to be putting the scoop neckline, and then we are cutting out the scoop neckline. Scoop neckline complements the bust shaping while keeping the shoulder balance intact. Do you see how beautiful the scoop neckline comes out? If you have not tried scoop neckline before, just try it. Even me, I'm going to be explaining scoop neckline more. I see the beauty in it. You can see many design on preachers with a scoop neckline, just like that. So also don't forget to return back your darts. That darts we have on the bust dart, we return it back on the hem of our pattern because we don't want to be short. So I'm returning back my dart. Please don't forget, it is very, very important. So now that we are done doing this, we can now go ahead and then we cut this. So this particular, if you also want a scoop for your back, you can put a scoop for your back. If you just want the basic round neck for your back, you can have it. If you want like a V, so it depends on what you want for your back. But I'm just showing you how to do your scoop neckline on the front, which I just measure 7 inches down from my shoulder line, and then I blend it in into the shoulder line. Okay, so that is it. And then I say for formal wear you can just do 5, for parties wear, for evening, for Christmas, just like we're going to be having for sewing class. For this particular class, if you want this class, just drop a message in the comment section so that you have access to this. Okay, so then just going to slash your bust, that, and then slash your shoulder, then transfer the that over there, just like we are doing over there. Do you see that? Amazing. Interesting. The fabric and design insights. You can style this princess in Bustier using fabrics like Duchess, satin, crepe, brocade, or cotton satin fabrics that hold structure and shape beautifully. For modern looks, combine with a lace or mesh overlay, or add piping. Yes, you can pipe this as well, piping along the same lines to emphasize your contour. Guys, do you see the beauty of this? This is really looking amazing. So I'm cutting on fold. That is why I'm having a paper under, because I want to show you the effect by the time you cut it on your fabric. That's why I'm cutting on fold. You don't need to, you may not cut on fold. So when you want to cut your fabric, you just need, you're going to be cutting the center front on fold, then the side front, it is just 2 pieces. Center front on fold, side front 2 pieces, then the center back 2 pieces, and then the side back also 2 pieces. Amazing. Grab the shoulder princess in Bustier with scoop neckline. Now you're seeing both the basic and contour versions are created from one basic block. Understanding this pattern gives you complete control over fit and design, from simple tops to contoured inspires Bustier. Now, if you are interested in the sewing class of this particular princess seam, both the armhole and the shoulder, drop your message in the comment section or reach out to us using our bow on this channel, and will be joining us in the sewing class. Please don't miss it. Ensure you are there. See you next. Bye.